I decided to give the BlueDriver code reader a try personally because a few different members of the Cadillac Escalade owners groups that I'm in seem to fairly consistently recommend it as a good thing to have, especially for the price point. For me, I wasn't planning to do anything particularly intensive to change the car. I just wanted to know more in-depth information about the actual codes that I was seeing on the dash. In my case, I had one engine light, which I already knew was an O2 sensor, and I also had one which developed during my time of driving it, which was a StabiliTrak warning. If possible, I wanted to be able to clear those lights after I'd fixed it myself, rather than relying on a garage. And for full exposure, I have no connection to the brand. This is not a sponsored video. I certainly didn't get the product for free, and as much as I'd love to work with them, they have no idea who I am. So this is a genuine, honest review that I have nothing to gain from, positive or negative. So first things first, does it work? Yes. In my case at least, and that is something to, of course, be aware of. This is intended primarily, if not exclusively, for North America market vehicles. So of course for a Cadillac Escalade, you're totally fine. Mine came from Japan, but it's still a US car originally, so mine paired instantly and worked perfectly with no issues at all. I saw a few reviews on Amazon, which is where I bought mine actually. I bought it from Amazon US because even with the shipping, for some weird reason it worked out a little bit cheaper than the UK version of Amazon. It did have a couple of negative reviews, and of course you can go on Amazon and check those out. Most of them seem to be people just saying, oh, it wouldn't pair with their phone, and chances are their vehicle probably wasn't from North America. In terms of using it, you turn your key in the car one position to give it power, plug in the BlueDriver, pair it to the phone, and then depending on how in-depth of a scan you want to do, you can scan just the engine, you can scan common things, or you can scan everything, which is what I tended to do each time. I've used it maybe 4 or 5 times now to check various things, and in the case of my car, I had 2 things in particular which I wanted to check out. One was an engine warning light, which I was already aware of anyway. That was because it just needed a new O2 sensor, and I wanted to know, would I be able to potentially clear that light if the car didn't recognize the new O2 sensor? As it turns out, the car ended up being fine anyway. I put the new sensor in, the light disappeared, so then I just cleared the code from its history anyway because it was irrelevant now. And then the second one, which was actually the main reason why I wanted to scan it, was a new thing, very common thing on the Escalade, the StabiliTrak ABS traction control warning, which happened immediately after I pulled quite swiftly out of a 90-degree right turn out of an entrance of a business. Given the circumstances, it seemed most likely a wheel speed sensor wire had become a bit taxed in the years since it had probably last been fitted, but I wanted to get a more specific code for that and check it out, so I decided to give up the risk of the potential £100, which again is an excellent price point for something like a code reader, especially given that this one does read codes and you can delete them as well. You can also check current codes and historic. Pretty good for the price point, given that you can easily spend thousands of pounds on stuff like this. If you want to go super intensive, it's probably not going to do everything you need, but certainly for the hobbyist, let's say, or somebody who just has very basic needs and requirements like I do from the car, it was perfect. In terms of that specific issue which I wanted more information on, I plugged it in, came up with the code, and not only that, it told me, as I'll probably put a screen grab of on screen from my phone, it was the right front wheel speed sensor, which saved me a whole lot of time. I ended up buying 2 sensors from Rock Auto, pretty much one of the best places to get American car parts here in the UK. Also not a sponsor, I wish they were. and I thought, you know what, they're £12 each, I may as well buy 2 of them just in case for a future time. All in all, I haven't done anything crazy intensive. I don't know how intensive people would ever plan to get with something like this as a code reader, given how easy it is to use. I literally just keep it in the car now. It's a very small thing, comes in a tiny box, so shipping is very simple, and it does exactly what I needed. Price point is good, it's small, it's easy to use, it paired easily with the phone. The app is free, it's not like a hidden stinger there or anything like that, and it gave me exactly what I wanted in terms of spitting out the code, gave me the specific wheel sensor I needed, and crucially I can clear the code and therefore clear the light from the dash after as well. And although it seems like a pretty obvious thing to say, the only caveat is make sure it's compatible with your car. In the case of anything that's North American, chances are it'll work, certainly did in the case of mine, and for those of us who have something like an Escalade, I'm sure this would work on like a Tahoe, a Yukon maybe, various other things. I would imagine stuff like Dodge Rams maybe as well, and various other trucks, SUVs, probably mainstream cars as well from North America, pretty much has you covered. But as I said, for the average person who just wants to do a bit of their own maintenance, servicing, whatever, or even just know what to tell the mechanic instead of being completely at the whim of what they tell you a car needs if you don't trust them, I would say it's £100 very well spent. So for me, it's a very easy, wholehearted recommendation, and hey, if BlueDriver wanted to sponsor me, I'm definitely open to it because you make a very good product as far as I'm concerned. That's it for my review, of course. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.